Hello Void, I'm Agitated Crane, and we are back with Russian bot reviews. I keep forgetting to mention the name of this series. And we will be reviewing uh, next episode in My Hero Academia, which is episode 11, titled Game Over, which is adapting chapters 16, titled Know Your Enemy, and chapter 17, which is titled Game Over as well. I do not have that much notes for this episode, so I'm guessing it's going to be another short one. And by short one, I mean less than 2 hours. But might as well. I honestly, it's quite late already. I'm recording it at like 1 a.m. in the morning, so not ideal. I'm a little bit tired and my brain is fried, so I'm not. Maybe it's not going to be as great, but I really wanted to get it done today, or well, I wanted to do it yesterday, but here we are today. And also, I feel kinda down, so hopefully, we won't be having too much problems with jokes, which may be a surprise to you, but my previous episodes were filled with jokes. You may have not understood them or laughed at them, but they were there. They were there. Anyway, so where do we start? Well, we start with a little bit of recap actually. So we get to see the situation at the gate, the situation with Aizawa, the situation in some of the danger zones, as well as we get a recap of Delaware Smash that helped Izuku and Tsuyu-chan, together with Mineta, escape from the flood zone. Flood zone? I still am not sure what exact pronunciation it is. Anyway, Izuku and Tsuyu-chan. Should I even be mentioning Mineta? He barely does anything. He's like a comic relief currently. So this team, basically, this trio is making it out of the water and close to the main plaza where they see Aizawa fighting the horde of villains, basically, right? We get a comment from Mineta, which I feel like we should comment on. So he mentions that he had a bowel movement in the morning, so his sticky balls should be sticking for a long time. And I am confusion, if I'm being honest, because so he said in previous episode that if he feels good, then the the balls are stickier. But I was almost I did not put it on camera, but I was speculating that maybe he means if he is like horny. So if he is hornier, then he is stickier. But no, it seems to be like physically good. But even then, like physically good, I would have expected like a more serious metric for feeling good than, oh yeah, I slept well and I had a regular shit. That's kind of That's kind of unexpected. Anyway, they check on Aizawa, and by check I mean they are just looking from a distance, and Izuku says that well, Mineta is kind of worried that Izuku is going to jump into the melee, but Izuku is saying, well, no, that would be actually. I understand that that's going to be stupid, so instead we are going to watch for the opening, and if we see a way to help Aizawa, then we will try to help. But we will like our main priority is not to get into his way, which I want to mention this, by the way, because it's actually, so far we haven't really seen anything like absolutely crazy, you know, because when you compare it to stuff like Bleach, Demon Slayer, Naruto, uh, what what other anime do I know that does this type of thing? Well, basically to any other shonen. I think. Well, I don't think that's actually the thing in Black Clover as well. Usually, when you see the fight at like your teacher's level, it's usually like this eye-opening where you realize, or the main character realizes that they they know nothing, because it kind of shows them the level higher than they can, that they are even aware of. Let's put it that way. So that translates to stuff like in Bleach, where if a person who is significantly stronger fights, you can barely see the movement, and that's kind of the same with Demon Slayer, where Toshiro, he wanted to help Rangiku, but he was like, I cannot even see what the fuck is happening. Like they are moving so fast, I can't jump in there. So I'm surprised we are not seeing it here, because Aizawa is supposed to be like a big deal. And even though he is fighting Scrubs currently, he gets to fight more serious enemy later. And I feel like we should have seen at this point a moment that makes us see the difference in level in because currently, like, yeah, we see it a little bit, but it's not like the difference is not as insane as in other shonens. So I wonder how that is going to play out, because in previous episodes we also had mentions that quirks do not evolve, which makes me wonder what's going to happen. I feel like we have to get like an evolution of quirks throughout suits, for example, maybe because Bakugo is getting like a power upgrade thanks to the suit. And there is another mention of a suit upgrades in this episode, which we will actually talk about right now, because the episode kind of jumps around a little bit, so it jumps through different zones and through what is happening in in at the entrance, what is happening with Aizawa. What I'm going to do instead is I'm gonna stitch it kind of together, and I'm gonna talk about what is happening in the zones. Then I'm gonna talk about what is happening in at the entrance, and then we will go back to Aizawa because that's where the main reveal is happening. So what is happening in zones, right? The kids are basically fighting trash villains, and it's honestly, I feel disappointed again. I I have expected that we will see more of the classmates, how they are fighting, what they are doing. We still do not know some of the classmates' names, and I mean we get like, if I'm being fair, we get the names in the opening sequence, as you can see here with Tsuyu-chan. We get the names throughout the episode and manga in like the scoring boards and stuff like that, but we don't really meet characters officially. So for example, here in Mountain Zone, where we have Momo, the lightning guy, and Earlobes girl, that's the first time we get explanation what Momo's quirk is, and we also get for the first time introduced to the other two kids. So it's maybe I shouldn't be calling them kids. Maybe I should call them students, because it's kind of weird calling them kids and then talk about how Mineta is perving over them, even though he's kid as well, and then kind of supporting him that, yeah, I would also perv over Froggy Girl. So yeah, let's maybe switch to students. So in Mountain Zone, can we get perhaps a good graphical explanation? Well, okay, let's first mention, I guess, that the landslide zone exists, and Todoroki is absolutely smashing everyone there. He's alone, and no matter who attacks, he just counters them. It's kind of boring, if I'm being honest. He does mention that he wants to be a hero, so he would prefer not to kill them, and it's basically like an interrogation tactic. He's trying to figure out what they know about the plan to kill All Might, which I wonder if it will play out, if it will come into play or not. But who knows? Who knows? Then we get the mountain zone, and that's basically the only zone that is kinda interesting, because we can learn about two new characters, and we get to understand Momo a little bit better. And so they are fighting those trash mobs basically, and we get to learn that the guy's name is Denki Kaminari, and his quirk is electricity, and the girl's name is Kyoka Jiro, and her quirk is those airlobes that can apparently plug into whatever she wants. It's actually quite interesting. So she can she has very good hearing. It's the way I understand her powers. She has very good hearing, and she can project the sound of her heartbeat outside of her body, which is kind of like sorry, a strong sound attack basically. And we get Kaminari. Is it Kaminari? My sight is not very good. Yeah. We get Kaminari complaining that he's not very good in this situation, that he's trying to contact outside, which is not working, and his quirk is area of effect type quirk, because hold on. So his quirk is electricity, and he can produce electricity from his body. But if he touches someone, he can use the electricity attack, but he cannot use it at range. At range, he can use like area of effect burst, basically, which is not ideal, because he would basically damage the girls as well. And so he says, I can't really do anything here, so I'm relying on you guys. To which Kyoka just pushes him towards one of the villains, and the villain gets electrocuted. Can I get a shot of that? Yeah. So she pushes him towards a villain. The villain gets electrocuted, and so Kaminari can be part of the fight as well. They continue fighting. A lot. It's played kind of like a slapstick comedy, which is kind of weird because it's supposed to be like a serious threat. But we get other villains attacking, and girls kind of redirecting their attacks, or deflecting their attacks in a way that they would get in touch with Kaminari, and which means that he would electrocute them. But at some point, Momo says that she's ready, and actually, before Momo, Kyoka starts complaining about Kaminari having shit costume, and this happens in anime. In manga, she's also talking about costumes, but she's not directly talking about Kaminari. So, hold on. I'm gonna do this maybe. So she says, why did you not ask for a costume that would help you control your powers better? And this is her complaining in the anime, but in the manga she says that she herself asked for a costume that would allow her to use her power more directly. And so the way she does it now is that she plugs her earlobe to her boots, and the boots apparently have the surround sound systems. I don't know, but so she can basically direct her attack thanks to her costume, and that's actually something that I wanted, I guess, to talk about, which is, I guess, this episode is great for it because we don't really have too much to discuss in other sections. So costumes, right? It seems to me that costumes are going to play a huge role, or it would make sense if they started to play a huge role in this anime, because so far, world building wise, we established that the quirks do not evolve. What you are born with, that's basically it. And I'm not even sure if they grow in power or not, because so far I'm not sure if we have seen it or not. All Might explains that when quirks are registered, sometimes they are misunderstood. So that's like the only thing. And like, okay, maybe if you misunderstand your quirk and you use it incorrectly, okay, that could be like a power spike growth where you, okay, so I understood my power as this, but it's actually this, and because it's this, I can use it in a different way, which is more powerful. Okay. So there is that, but they don't evolve. Like he says that you can report the fact that you understand your power better, and it's actually something different. But it's they don't evolve. Like you don't get suddenly an additional power based on what your power already is, right? So, for example, if you are what should we compare it to? He compared it with like water creation, but I don't really want to use the same thing. But yeah, fuck it. Let's use that because it's late and I can't think straight. I have only gay thoughts. So he says that you may think that your work is like a water creation, but then you realize that it's not actually water creation. Is that you collect the moisture from the air and then you can use that moisture. So it's like a different context of your power. Okay, but then with suits, and this was quite interesting. When you register for a suit, you can I guess it's some company that is working with a school that creates the suits. But basically, when you apply for the school and you get accepted, you then can request a suit and or costume, I guess. And what's curious is that you can use the costumes technology to kind of amplify your abilities. And we have seen this with Bakugo, where he secretes nitroglycerin from his palms, but then his suit works in a way that this nitroglycerin is collected, and as much if he collects enough, he can then use like a stronger attack, ranged attack, and stuff like that. Okay, cool. So why isn't everyone doing this? Because we get like the combat hamster guy, which I mean I probably should come up with a better name for him, but the guy with just the tail, right? He doesn't. His suit is just clothes, right? Then Invisible Girl, she doesn't have any clothes at all. So what? Why wouldn't she want like some sort of suit in a material that would allow her to be that would allow her to be visible or invisible at will, kind of like what Sue Storm has, right? She has special. Her Fantastic Four uniform is special. That if she goes invisible, that it goes invisible as well. So why isn't like it? Is it just because we want a naked girl in the class, or is it because she is at this point just a nudist and she wants to be naked? Why did Kamimura. Is it Kamimura? No, Kaminari. Why did Kaminari did not ask for a suit that would either amplify his abilities or make his abilities more controllable? It's kind of strange. And then also, before we went to this location, Aizawa told them to get into the uniforms or into the costumes, but he said that it's optional, that maybe some costumes are actually not suited for a rescue. So I wonder, right? Because I think actually Bakugo in this episode, he has only one hand in his combat gear. His other hand is regular. So I wonder if that was like his intentional choice. Like, okay, if I'm going into combat, I have both hands in combat gear. But if I'm going for a rescue, then I guess I don't really need to do that. But I'm Bakugo, so I still want to have at least one weapon. Maybe that's it. But it's kind of strange. So I wonder if we will be getting like alternate costumes for different fights, or if we will be getting costume upgrades to kind of help us improve our compatibilities and stuff like that. So yeah, I do wonder. But anyway, as the fight progresses, Momo goes down. And by goes down, I mean she just like squats. And I'm looking for yeah, there we go. So she squats, and from her back we get this sheet of fabric, I guess. And we talked about her quirk in previous episode, where it seemed like she is like they were pulling weapons from her body. And I was speculating that she maybe has like a storage type body, that she stores weapons in her body, because that made sense to me. That made more sense to me than creating something out of thin air. But we get corrected in this episode, and we get explanation that no, she actually creates stuff in her body, and then she can reproduce it from her body, which is, I'm gonna say this is insane. So the quirk is creation, and it's explained that she can create any non-living thing as long as she understands what it is. So she has to have like almost scientific knowledge about the thing that she wants to create. And I don't sorry. I really don't like this, because okay, so this is gonna sound a little bit weird, but superhero comics are usually science fiction. Sure, you get your Wonder Woman, you get your Thor, you get your Doctor Strange, which those kind of go into like fantasy territory, but ultimately, like the superhero comics as a whole, they are science fiction. And even when you introduce magic, it usually has like a fixed set of rules. they have to follow, and more often than not, it gets explained as like science that we do not understand, and then there is this conflict between magic and science, and you have science dealing with magic in a scientific way. So, but let's wheel it back a little bit. Superhero comics is by default are science fiction. And My Hero Academia, okay, it's not Western comic. It's a Japanese manga, so it doesn't have to follow the same rules. But it's very obvious that we are basically doing X-Men. I mean, it's not like beat for beat, but we have populace on Earth basically mutating and gaining superpowers, quirks, or mutations. Those mutations are different. They can be small mutations, they can be mutations that change your body, or they can be mutations that change, that give you some abilities. Okay, so far so good. We have a school for gifted youngsters and whatnot. Okay, now some powers are basically modifications. Modifications are not mutations. I like you cannot. It feels like you are skipping stuff, if that makes sense. Well, not skipping stuff. It's like you gave setup for one thing, but you actually want to go in a different thing. So, for example, you have those you have regular quirks which should be mutations, but then you have quirks that are like body modifications, then you have quirks that are basically magic, then you have quirks that can be passed on, which is like a meta-human stuff almost. So I guess we don't really know about the quirks too much. Like, it could be explained later that it's not really a mutation, it's something different. But so far we are pretending that it's mutation, and yet we have this creation quirk which basically can create whatever she wants. And it wouldn't be as insane if it wasn't also the fact that she can produce crafted items, basically. So if she could produce, I don't know, like whatever material she wanted, right? Okay, she can kind of create spear, because she creates some, like, I don't know, iron rod, for example, and she can use it as a spear. Okay, she can create a sword because she basically creates like a bronze stick with pointy end, and it can be used as a sword. Okay, but when she creates a sword, she creates it in a crafted manner. So I don't. At this point, it cannot be really explained as a mutation, because it has to be explained as so, honestly, something like a Green Lantern power ring, or magic, basically. Because if you, like, how do you explain that you can craft shit in your body. And then okay, and where are the limits for this? Because she says it takes a long time to create something big. Okay, what if you wanted to create a small handgun? How long is that gonna take you? If you, it's explained that she has to understand how it works and stuff like that. But okay, so get a book, understand how the gun works and how it is created, and then create a gun. Suddenly you have a gun. But that's insane. Like, surely. So I feel like this is like an insane quirk that maybe I don't want to say he didn't think it through, because we actually later in manga, well, not that later, but we in manga basically get this sketch. And in this sketch, he is explaining that he initially wanted this quirk to be something a professional hero has, but then he decided that it would be more interesting if this quirk had belonged to someone who is less experienced. So it seems like he understands that this quirk is game breaking. So he put it into hands of someone who is just learning, and it's going to be, I guess, limited by that she's not someone who knows about all the items, how they work. Okay, I guess. But anyway, so she creates this sheet of fabric. It's actually it is actually insulation sheet. So now Kaminari can use his area of effectability, which is exactly what he does, and he electrocutes all the villains. So great. Under the sheet, we see the girls, and we see Momo's girls apparently. So when she was creating the sheet, it went from her back, so it kind of tore her clothes. So we got boobies. Obviously, boobies are censored, but there you go. Apologies, we have some coughing fits. Yoka tries to censor the boobies the best she can. First with her earlobes, so that was kind of funny, and then she hides her from Kaminari. But we get a revelation that if Kaminari uses his power unlimited, he gets lobotomized. if he basically gains damage to his brain, and for a while he becomes like a moron, which is okay. So does he have like some sort of regenerative power a little bit, or is he with each use just damaging his brain, and eventually he's going to be like a fish? Who knows? But regardless, let's jump around some more and check on the other teams. As I said, I'm skipping a little bit. Bakugo and Kirishima are just wrecking the fools, and we got a little bit of interaction between them, where Bakugo says that he wants to go after the warp gate guy, and Kirishima is trying to say like, okay, but we have to go after, we have to go help the other students because we have like an attack quirk, but some of them don't have direct attack quirk. Maybe they have like a support quirk, so we should really go help them. And Bakugo says, no, screw that, like they're sending trash mobs at us, so I'm sure other students can deal with them, and I want to take down the warp gate guy because he is basically their escape. So when we finally deal with everyone, I don't want them to use this guy to basically slip away. And to which Kirishima says, "Oh, so you are actually quite smart, and I'm surprised because usually you are just screaming shine shine shine, which is like die die die, and you seem like very simple, but you are actually very calm and calculating." To which Bakugo goes nuts again, goes like, "I'm always calm. What the fuck?" So kind of like a nice moment for Bakugo, and to which Kirishima says that, you know what, you actually convinced me, and I see that you trust like your classmates. You have a good plan with this warp gate guy, so I'm gonna follow you. So it seems like Bakugo is getting a friend, which is great. And also, I'm not sure we get this in manga, and I don't think it's very clear in anime either. Yeah, it's not very clear in anime either, but I feel like Bakugo may be understanding that he is getting recognized here. Meaning like he's I don't want to say acknowledged, but basically respected. Let's put it this way. And I think this is the first time actually that Bakugo gets this from other classmates, because he does get mentions from teachers. Oh yeah, Bakugo scored the top grades and stuff like that, but most of the time teachers and students, they focus more on Izuku, because Izuku is doing better, right? And here we see kind of him getting the respect again, similar to how in previous school everyone was following him and everyone was saying like Bakugo is the best. So here we get it again finally after several days of Bakugo basically getting like a reverse treatment. So I'm happy to see this. I'm hoping it's a start of a friendship, and hopefully it will work out. And then we get in the fire section we get the hamster boy, who is just dealing with the fools. He hides away, sneaks attacks, and stuff like that. So there you go. That's basically it. And that's why I'm saying, like, we are not getting too much out of them. And then we get Bird Boy and Fish Guy, and they are dealing with enemies as well. And again, we don't really see much. We see shadow manipulation from the Bird Guy, but we don't really see anything from the Fish Guy. Bird Guy by the name is named Tokoyami. And also, I think this is the last zone that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is the last zone, which means that I want to jump to manga right now. Because in manga we get a nice map of this U.S.J location, and you can see where everyone is. One second. But I mean, we don't really have to break it down again, because I kind of like mentioned who is where. What I do want to mention though is that Aoyama and Hagakure, Hagakure? Oh my god, I better switch to my notes. Yeah, Aoyama and Hagakure. Oh, that's curious. I have Hagakure from anime with the G, and they have it with K. But apparently those two are unaccounted for. And I honestly, like, I did not realize this, but yeah. Where are they? Because it seems like all the zones that we have here, we were shown. So we have Aizawa fighting in the central plaza, we have Bakugo and Kirishima in the collapsed zone. In the float zone we had Midoriya, Mineta, and Tsuyu-chan. In the fire zone we got Ojiro, Sexy Girl Momo, Kyoka, and Kaminari in the mountain zone, Todoroki alone in the landslide. So yeah, all the zones were kinda shown. So Aoyama and Hagakure are basically lost somehow. But let's talk about what is happening at the entrance to the U.S.J, where we have 13. We have Ida there, Uraraka, Soto, Sero, Ashida, and we have a typo in the comic. In the manga, it shows Aizawa here, but it's actually supposed to be Mezo Shoji, so just Shoji, dupli arms guy. So they are here, and they are fighting the Warp Gate guy. So, I think in previous episode it started that 13 said, basically, she I'm still calling her she, because I feel like the voice actress is she, but we will see. Both anime and manga calls 13 him, so I could be wrong. But in previous episode we started sucking off the warp gate with black hole, which is the power of 13. And I was speculating that this is not going to go well. Not only because we have Void and Black Gate, oh, not Black Gate, Black Hole and Void warping gate stuff. So it kinda is. I feel like it's incompatible. Like it shouldn't be mixing. Oh my god. And on top of that, we had multiple instances where 13 was given Uncle Ben speeches, basically. So I was speculating that she is going to die. And yeah, this happens. So the warp gate creates a gate behind her, and so she starts to suck herself with her power of Black Gate. Not Black Gate, oh my god. Black Hole and Warp Gate. Jesus. So she gets damaged, and we do not see what is in the suit. In fact, this is kinda curious because so she is using this space suit, right? And it almost it makes you think if perhaps she cannot live outside of the suit. And I'm thinking maybe it's like a containment suit, that maybe she is she herself is the black hole. But then would that mean that she got confined into suit from the very beginning? Who knows? Who knows? But it's a curiosity for sure. The girls, Mina and Uraraka, they go try to help 13, or basically just sit next to her, and the guys tell Ida to run, so he starts to run, and the warp gate tries to intercept him. But then we get a play from Uraraka, who touches a part of warp gate body. Can we see it somewhere? Hold on. Well, I got it in anime kinda, but it's not really well shown. So I'm gonna check if manga has perhaps a better drawing of that. Well, okay, I guess first we have to... I guess first we have to mention that Dupli Arms, Mezo-shoji, he is the first one to help. So when Tenya starts to run, he jumps at warp gate, and he kind of slows him down. So that's like the first thing, and then later And then later, and this is, I guess, the best I can do, Uraraka touches part of Warpgate's body. So majority of his body is incorporeal, right? But then he has like a physical piece of something in that cloud of incorporealness, and so she touches that and makes it flow, and the whole cloud kind of floats away with it. And then we also get the tape guy. Oh my god, what is his name? Zero. Hanta Zero, duct tape man. So he sorry. So he connects with his tape to the guy as well, and in the manga I think he's the one who throws him, but in anime it's actually come on, where are you? God damn it. Well, basically it's there we go. So the other guy catches the tape and he throws it, and it's Sato, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So they give a little bit of screen time to Sato in anime. That's cool. And then Ida basically makes it out of the building, and he runs away to get the rescue. So great. We basically get a little bit of hope, I guess. To which, of course, the Black Gate, not Black Gate, it's Black Hole and Warp Gate. So Warp Gate says, oh, well, he will get reinforcements, which means that's game over for us. So he returns to... Did I not talk about Aizawa getting... Oh my god. Right, so meanwhile, Aizawa is fighting the villains, and he then gets attacked by the main villain, which is this Hansi guy. And he starts counting, and he eventually touches Aizawa on the elbow, and the elbow starts to disintegrate. And he starts explaining that, you have the erasure quirk and stuff like that, but I noticed that there is a window when your hair basically falls to your eyes, and you cannot see that. Then I can use the quirk basically. So this is kind of upsetting because Aizawa was all about the efficiency and being like the basically the efficiency. And so his hair, so it he's kind of sloppy, so it kind of makes sense that he's not cutting his hair. But then now his hair is a weakness, which is something that I feel that like he should have recognized, and maybe he should have like a hairpin be part of his costume. Well, maybe he will get it for the next fight if he survives, because he then gets attacked by another big name villain, and we get by this thing. This thing is apparently called Nomu, and it's a bioengineered thing. And he starts to absolutely smash Aizawa. So he starts breaking his hands. Aizawa is basically done for. And Aizawa tries to look at Nomu, but it doesn't help. Nomu continues to pummel him. So we get kind of like an explanation that, okay, so it's not the quirk, he's just insanely strong. And considering we have been told that he was bioengineered, so does that mean that he's not even human? Like maybe he's like a creature. And this is why I mentioned like the quirks and the stuff about them being, well, the superhero comics is being sci-fi, because in usually in superhero comics you have multiple sources of power, and you have like your experiments, you have your robots, you have your wizards and stuff like that, the aliens eventually. So I wonder if this is going to be like a change, perhaps, in the world that we are start. But already we have some quirks that are kind of like modifications, so it doesn't really work. But anyway, then as this is happening, the kids, Izuku and Tsuyu-chan and Mineta, are watching in horror, and they are realizing that they are basically not prepared for this. And also Izuku mentions, and this is actually something quite interesting, he says that where did he say it? I think he said it a little bit earlier. What pros deal with, we hadn't seen anything yet. So I wonder, because usually like the superhero stuff, from what we have heard, is heavily televised and reported on, to the point where Izuku knows a lot about heroes and villains and stuff like that. But here, not only have we not heard anything from Izuku regarding who the Hans guy is, but it also seems like this is the first time Izuku sees that there are strong villains, right? That the heroes actually lose sometimes. And this is quite interesting. So I wonder if there is like a censorship going on, or if this is like an underground thing that happens. Because we did have sorry, when All Might explains about the things about his injury, he does mention that that he fought someone 5 years ago, and that's where the damage is coming from. But he says that it's kind of like a secret, because he didn't want people to know that the symbol of peace can be hurt or something like that. So I do wonder if there is like a censorship going on to present this world where, yeah, we have heroes and they always win. Interesting, I would say. The other guy shows up, the Warp Gate, not Black Gate, Warp Gate, shows up and he reports to the Handsman, and we get names, I guess, finally. Well, we got partial names previously because some scrub villains were mentioned in it, but now we get interaction between the two villains and we get names. So the Hans guy, let's switch to Hans guy. Or I guess let's get to this. That's a nice shot as well. So the Hans guy is Tomura Shigaraki, and the other villains were calling him Shigaraki, so I will try to call him Shigaraki. And the Warp Gate is Kurogiri. So Kurogiri reports that he incapacitated 13, the space hero, which means that 13 is not dead. Okay, cool. I think I'm gonna comment on this at the end of this episode. So for now, 13 is alive, and he says, I tried to scatter the students. I did for most of them, but some of them stayed, and one of them escaped. To which Shigaraki starts scratching himself. Seems like a narrow stick or something. He's obviously upset, and he says, well, now it's game over. Like, we cannot deal with all the teachers that are now gonna come here as reinforcements. If you... And he then says to Kurogiri, if you were not like our getaway car, I would have killed you. So it's you can kind of see that it's obviously like a villains, right? And then I guess I have to mention it because we have to talk about frog boobs. So he says that okay, so I guess this is really game over. Like, we cannot deal with all the teachers coming to help, so we will be leaving. And Mineta hears this, he says, "Oh my God, they are leaving! Thank God!" And he starts hugging Tsuyu-chan, and we get this. So he touches her boobie, to which we get this very cute reaction from her. I absolutely love her. She's drawn very cutely. And so she then reacts like so, and she starts drowning Mineta. So yeah, but I guess they were noticed even before. So Shigaraki says that actually before we leave, let's kill some kids so we smash some of his pride, meaning All Might's pride. And he starts attacking. Oh my God. It's so hard to get Oh, okay. To get the exact scene that I want, and he leaps towards Tsuyu-chan. Now, thankfully, I kinda spoiled myself, because when I was looking for who was the voice actor of Tsuyu-chan, I saw that she has a very, 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 and I mean very lengthy Wikipedia page. So she is like one of the main characters, and I think I have seen her around online as well. Like I've seen her like different fan arts, cosplays, what have you. So she for sure is not getting hurt, and well, okay, maybe she's getting hurt, but she's not getting killed. Oh my god. So I wasn't really worried that she would get killed, thankfully. But yeah, I am beginning to hate on Shigaraki, and I actually wanted to comment on this. Like, are we villains for villains' sake, or less so villains, but like, are we evil for evil's sake, right? Because usually when you have uh, villains in superhero comics, you well, I guess it depends on the comic, because you do get Joker, for example, who is absolutely unhinged and would kill anyone. You get, I guess, Doomsday, who is also like uncontrollable beasts and would just destroy everything. So I guess, okay, there is a precedent, but it's also like those are like extreme cases. Usually, when I think about villains, right, I'm thinking like Lex Luthor, I'm thinking Dr. Octavius, I'm thinking uh, Captain Cold, for example, or even like Mr. Freeze. So all those majority of villains that I'm thinking of are not like insanely evil, because they usually have like their own agenda, and yeah, they work outside of the law, and they do some evil shit. But it's very rare. Well, it's not like insanely rare, but I wouldn't say it's that common to have villains who are just like unhinged maniacs, like Carnage, Joker, Doomsday, I guess. Victor Sass is, I guess, serial murderer. But yeah, so I guess we are seeing that this character Shigaraki is like insane murderer, and so he jumps to attack Tsuyu-chan, and Izuku is not fast to react, and he realizes this, like, oh my god, she's gonna get killed. But then as he touches her, nothing happens, and that is because the absolute unit, the absolute badass Eraserhead, he manages to suppress the quirk of Shigaraki, which gives Izuku chance to react, and he leaps into action. He leaps into action, and he understands, like, this villain is a big deal. Not only is his power like very dangerous. He is trying to kill Tsuyu-chan, so he's just throwing the caution to the wind. He is going full on attack, and he lands a hit. However, when dust settles, he realizes that he did not destroy his arm this time, that he finally managed to regulate the power so his arm is not destroyed. However, he also notices that he got intercepted by Nomu. And so Nomu catches him by the hand, and Nomu got no damage. He catches him by the hand and is about to destroy him, to which Tsuyu-chan, lovable frog lady, reacts, and she wants to save him, and we get this really like tense moment where Tsuyu-chan is trying to save Izuku. The Shigaraki guy is trying to kill Tsuyu-chan. So it's like really tense. A lot of stuff happening at once, and then we hear an explosion. And someone else enters U.S.J. And we get told it is going to be okay. Why? Because I am here. And we get All Might finally entering this arc. Everyone is absolutely happy, and I am a little bit worried. First, I want to mention that he is not smiling here, so that's cool. But let us talk about people dying. I'm gonna say this. Usually shonen manga are very tame about murders, so they don't really delve too deeply into murders. One second. Like, don't get me wrong, characters definitely die, but it's kinda... This is gonna sound stupid, but it's being teased more than it actually happens. Right? So we have like this fight, and someone says, oh, if I use this, I'm gonna die. Or he gets like a lot of damage and he looks dead, but then in the next episode he has like a limp or something. So here we had kind of like this setup for 13 to die, or at least I felt like he may die, because he was or she, whatever. One second. Oh my god, start working. So we kept getting like this tease that she may die, because we were getting like this explanation that, oh, she's like a rescue hero, everyone absolutely loves her because she's saving a lot of people, and she was given like this Uncle Ben speeches. She gave it to the whole class. Then she gave like a separate one to Tenya. So it really felt like she's in danger of dying. But then the warp gate guy, Kurogiri, he said that he incapacitated her, that he didn't kill her completely. Maybe she's not out of the danger because of the way her astro suit was damaged. I think maybe she's using it because it's kind of like a life support for her. But then we also get like a lot of damage done to Aizawa. That's kind of interesting. Like I wonder if because at some point we had Nomu absolutely like smashing his head into the ground. And so I wonder if perhaps Aizawa could die, but I feel like it's too soon for Aizawa to die. Like we haven't really seen too much of him. And now All Might enters, and the villain's goal is to kill All Might, and there is this worry that All Might is going to die. And it almost feels like the narration of Izuku throughout this arc, it seems like he's recapping what happened. Like he's talking about this after the fact, and it almost sounds like something really bad really happened. But I feel like it's too soon to kill All Might. So I don't really. I wonder what if we would get like a lasting impact after this arc. And I feel like the lasting impact would have been 13 dying, but it seems like maybe she's gonna make it. In which case, who is in danger? All Might or Aizawa? But both of them, it seems too soon to kill them. So I wonder what will happen. So that's the end of the episode. I did manage to talk quite a lot about it, thankfully. And we have 2 more episodes left in first season. And then this is also like the end of the second volume of manga. The manga's separation is strange, I would say. It's kind of strange that we are ending the volume on what seems to be like a middle of the arc. But I also feel like we won't be ending the season on a cliffhanger, or not even like cliffhanger, but like in the middle of the arc. So I'm guessing it's going to be resolved in those 2 episodes. In fact, I'm pretty sure the next episode is going to be like a full-on fight between All Might and Nomu, and maybe Shigaraki. And then afterwards, the episode 13, I'm guessing, is going to be like an epilogue where the dust settles and stuff like that happens. So I'm gonna wait for the final fight, but as it is right now, I'm a little bit disappointed that we are still not seeing students not even fight seriously, but we don't give them enough screen time, I feel like. And I think we really need like a tournament arc or something where we would see all the students have some character development and full-on use of their powers. Because as it is, more than half of the class basically dealt with villains off screen. So yeah, and I do wonder if Tenya met All Might when he was running away, or is this All Might just coming here at his own pace? Who knows? But regardless. And I wonder if All Might said to Principal that I cannot get in touch with Aizawa and 13. Something must be up. Well, regardless. That's it for today. I hope my sluggishness and depression did not translate into the video. I will see you next time. Subscribe to the channel. Go beyond. Detroit, smash the notification button. Delaware, smash the like button. And yeah, that's it. Goodbye.